Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus. I know it's been a little while, aside from my live shot, my first live shot last week at at the farmer's market. That was my final farmer's market for the season. So you can see this Saturn rings is seeding. I have another Saturn over here, and I have one Saturn on the other side of my property that's seeding as well. So I'll have some Coleus seeds this year. I have a lot of Coleus seeds coming in this year. I still purchase Coleus plugs from Rosie Dawn, the Saturns, and certain because I like the company. I like to give them business, and I love their plants. They're very, very strong. So there's certain Coleus varieties that I always buy every year from them. So shout out to Rosie Dawn Gardens, guys. Enjoy your quote time off. I don't know if you have time off. I think you do your cuttings. It's fascinating. So, but anyway, now I'm going to start to harvest, keep track and harvest my Coleus seed stalks. So again, if you're new to my channel, I do sell seeds from most of the varieties that are on my YouTube channel here. Not all of them. Some of them are patented and they're not legal to propagate, so I can't sell the seeds. And I'll actually give you a little preview of the seeds from the Coleus plants that I will be selling. So jot that down. It's Jim's Coleus on eBay. I'll absolutely give everybody a heads up when my seed listing goes live on eBay. Generally, it looks as of right now I'm getting a lot of seeds developing, which is really great because I'm going to have a lot of seeds to sell. But it's probably going to be the second week of October, and I'll have them all fall and winter. So I jot that down. Jim's Coleus. You can go there now. I think I have a shirt listed. If you're interested in buying a shirt, I think I have an extra large Jim's Holiest of Coleus shirt. So if you're interested in maybe a shirt or a cup or something like that, let me know. I can make one up for you and we can ship that out. So I haven't really gotten into promotional items like cups and shirts as of yet, but maybe when I'm retiring next year after, I think that might be something I'll look into further. But for now, that's Jim's Coleus on eBay. Go check it out, and let's go take a really quick look at, give you a little background on how I develop my seed stalks and when I cut them, and just give you a little preview of what you can expect if you do want to buy some seeds from me. So, and you'll be helping out also, again, proceeds from my seeds, from my farmers market, YouTube here. I always give donations to different organizations, Wounded Warriors. I have my Mars Animal Foundation fund drive going on Instagram right now. That's really good. It's a good organization. Next month I think it's going to be USO. So I rotate them. I just have a handful of organizations, but something good comes from you watching here, from you buying plants at the farmers market. And purchasing my seeds on eBay. So something good comes of that, besides the enjoyment of learning how to grow Coleus and having lots of fun with that. So I have some videos in over the past few years on how I actually separate the Coleus seeds, what you need to do. It's painstaking. It takes a lot of time. It's tiring, but sometimes it could take me 8 hours to do some seeds. I have to take breaks and so forth. So but all right, so enough chat. Let's go take a look and check out some of these beautiful Coleus. Okay, so now some of these are left over. Yes, that's a nice little, and I really haven't been trimming it. I'm seeing if any seeds, but I do have some seeds in another plant developing. Some jitters. I have jitter seeds also, and this is a jitters variety. So that's a nice little plant. So I didn't sell that. I may give that to somebody. So, but here is Saturn rings. I have some seed stalks coming in for that. So I'll have a limited amount of Saturn rings seeds. And here's a Saturn. This one hasn't seeded, so this is really just for decoration on my property. But it's doing much better now. That heat that we had about 3 weeks ago that I was complaining about on one of my videos, I was so upset. because the heat, I think it was just a combination of a lot of rain and heat, and they really took a turn. But you know what, if you're not interested in harvesting Coleus seeds, when you see these little buds develop, snip them off, because what happens is when a Coleus starts to go to seed, it takes a lot of energy away from the plant to develop these seeds, to maintain these seeds, to nourish these seeds away from the plant. So you're going to start to see your plant really decline. Someone had reached out to me, I think it was yesterday, sent a comment, wanted to know, hey, does putting a Saturn out in full sun, can you expect some of the leaves to turn all purple and less green? And you know, in general, not. I've never really had it, but this one has. You can see it. I mean, you still have the green, but just the very top, so I can snip this. This really needs to be trimmed, and I'm going to get around to it. I've been working a lot of overtime at my regular job, but I have some time off coming, and I'll start to do a little trimming every day on these. But this is really nice. There's a moon dust. Again, that's not legal to propagate seeds. It's not developing seeds, so even if it did, I would just keep them for myself and maybe plant them. But I'm gonna cut. I have one cutting that one stem broke, and I'm gonna root it. I'll root a few of these. And again, here is a flamingo, huge flamingo. If you remember, if you're following along, these were. I had about 6 to 8 cuttings from last year. This is the mother plant from last year. These are rootings from the mother plant that I kept alive all last year. And these were those long, leggy, barren looking flamingo stems, cuttings that I planted. And now look at them. This really needs to be trimmed. This really needs to be trimmed. So we got this flamingo. I got a defiance over here. It's starting to come in. I'm starting to get some seed stalks here. I don't really want to cross contaminate these, so these I'm going to trim because I have another one of these separate. But the defiance are just starting to develop seed stalks, so I'm not worried about contaminating. I already cut a few of these because this is the only plant. This is sort of like a crimson gold. So I'll have these seeds as well. These are really nice burgundy. Sort of a red. So I'll have seeds to this. It's either a burgundy red or a crimson gold. I'll have both. But you can see, but again, if you're not interested in Coleus seeds, keep trimming these once you start to see them develop like this here, just snip them off. Just snip them off, and that'll keep your Coleus healthy. It'll keep it vibrant. Otherwise, again, this will start to really decline. Now, this is a really strong plant. Even with these seed stalks, it's not really losing much color. But you can see it's got a little, you know. But these are beautiful. I always love these velvet burgundy. It's one of my favorite things. For color varieties. Yes, here I'm looking around for my defiance. Here's my defiance. Here's one of my defiance. So I'm getting plenty of seed stalks coming in, and you can start to see all these petals. Now they're always going to have some petals growing. They keep growing taller and taller and taller. You know, you can really decide how many seed stalks do I have coming in, and I'll actually snip them. And then I wait. I want to make sure that these are on for at least a month. Make sure they're pollinated well. This one's really almost ready, but I let it sit, and when they start to turn a little brown towards the bottom here, then I know that the seeds are well mature and it's time to snip them off, and then they still have to dry out, which can take, I like to really let them dry out. The drier the seed stalks, the easier it is to get the seeds out. They'll actually fall out of the chaff pocket, the little pod. If you don't let them dry out enough, it's very difficult to get the seeds from separating. But we got some good seed stalks from this Defiant, so I'll have some Defiant seed stalks on my eBay listing. Okay, now here's that Lord Voldemort, same as the Flamingo. This was 3 really scrawny Lord Voldemort cuttings from the mother plant that I've kept just recycling every year. I just take stems, cuttings from the mother plant over the course of 4 or 5 years now, and I've just kept the stems as cuttings all fall and winter, and then I just plant it and it grows like this monster. Now again, I had mentioned before, my son had a little party and they broke a pretty big stem here, so I'm rooting that one, so I'm gonna cut a few of these. But these are so good. These are perfect plants for rootings, because look at the stems, they're so strong, hardy. So that's why these do so well, and I've been so successful in keeping this plant going for 4 years. You know, I don't keep overwintered live Coleus in my house, maybe 1 or 2 small pots, but in general, the ones that I don't have seeds for, I will keep cuttings, as I do with this one. But this is really nice. These Lord Voldemorts are very hardy, they're thicker, and they make good, they're a good candidate for overwintering. There's a little cricket hitching a ride hidden in there. I haven't seen any praying mantises this year. I usually get 1 or 2 praying mantises on one of my larger Coleuses outside, but I haven't seen one this year. But now here is a fishnet. Now this one I grew from seed, and every year, this is the first year I actually didn't buy any cuttings, any fishnet cuttings from Rosie Dawn. Next year I'm going to do that, and this year I didn't grow any Darth Vaders. And you know, it's not a pretty Coleus, but I miss having my Darth Vader Coleus. Now I had some Darth Vader seeds, I just didn't grow any this year. And then next year I'll get maybe 1 or 2 fishnets and some Darth Vaders from Rosie Dawn. But this is a pretty good. There's a broken stem. Here we go. See, now at this point, see how it's all curled? This has been broken off for a day or two. So now this is going to have to go into the compost pile, because that wouldn't really be a good candidate to bring in as a cutting, because it's already curled up and compromised. So, and I got plenty of good strong stems here. So I'm definitely going to cut a few stems here and overwinter these, because these, just like the Lord Voldemort, do really, really well as cuttings, because they have such ginormous hardy stems, and the leaves are very hardy. So these fishnets make great cuttings. Okay, and here is a Kong Red, and it's the only Coleus over here that's seeding. So I will have these on my eBay listing as well. Kong Reds, and they will grow different sizes. Some of them are jumbo, really jumbo, like Empires, and they're similar to Empires. They have that crisscross action, but the Kong Reds, what makes a Kong Red different from an Empire is it has the black center with the red or pink over top. So that's how, even though it has the crisscross, it looks like an Empire. These are Kong Reds. I'll have these seeds. Okay, now here are, these I'll list as, they're sort of like colossal marbles, but they cross-pollinated, and this year I got these with the pink. So I have these separate over here. So I'll have these, and I have lots of seeds of this variety. So I have these separate over here. There's a little bit of a variety in different, but I will have these. These are going to be, I'm going to call them like pink colossals. So I'll have these. And here's another one that's really interesting. It's similar but a little darker. Now I got colossal marble seeds a few years ago, and they were either like a bright green or dark purple. So, and again, I got these cross-pollinated, and I got this pink. So they're really beautiful. So I made sure I separated these and made sure that I'm going to get lots of seeds from these, and I have. So, and I'll pass those on to you. They will be included in my Jim's Coleus listing. Okay, jitters. Now, there was the two types of jitters that I have, and I mixed them up. So you'll get a mixture of the plain and these. And these were sort of crossed with a Kong variety, the Kong Red. You can almost see they're direct, but they're more like jitters because they have a very slender foliage. They're more like Kong Reds, but you can see they're more slender, and they drape down. So I will have these listed as well. These will be my jitters Coleus. Got a lot of bees out here pollinating. I have mixed again. Here's the flamingos, but they're not seeding. And this is also another rooting from last year. 2 or 3 rootings. Flamingo Coleus. No seed stalks though, so it's going to be again same thing as the Lord Voldemort. These make really good cuttings because they got strong stems, very hardy. So I'll be cutting these again, and we'll just recycle them. Same thing next year. These stems will be the next plant from next year. Now over here is a hanging basket, and I'm gonna have a limited amount. Now I'm starting to see more and more stem seed stalks develop. So there's a little butterfly kind of taking a rest. But anyway, these are more like a mosaic, and I'll have these on my eBay listing as well. So these will be listed as like a mosaic. I will try to include all the varieties in order. If you have a specific Coleus, when I do list my Coleus seeds and there is one variety that you really, really want, just let me know, shoot me a note and say, hey, I really want the colossal pink, or I really want that mosaic. Or don't send me a Kong's empires. I have plenty of those. Don't send me those. And I'll try to, most of the time I will be able to accommodate you. So, but these will be on my listing as well. No seeds from that yet. Those are Wizard Rose, and they're stubborn, beautiful. As beautiful as they are, they're as stubborn as they are beautiful. So these things drive me nuts. I love these plants, and you can't really overwinter them. I mean, not overwinter. They don't make good cuttings. They don't last. They're just too delicate. They're hard to grow. I either get really good ones like this, or they die, or they just don't develop. They're just very, very fragile, temperamental Coleus. But I don't think I'll have any of these seeds. Okay, and this is the other one I was telling you about, the jitters. So you can see the similarities. It's got the pink and the black in the center and that little crisscross. But you can see they're thin, slender. They make great hanging baskets. So these will be included also in the jitters, along with those other colored ones. They'll be mixed in. So you'll get a mixture of those. So, and that's the excitement. You never know what's going to grow. So this is really how I organize my seeds. So I pick them as I see them, start to where they've been out at least a month or so. I like to wait until they start to brown a little bit on the bottom. You'll still see some flowers. These seed stalks, they'll just continue to grow taller and taller and taller. I get so many, and not all Coleus are like prolific seed stalk developers. Some of the best Coleus, if you talk to any Coleus grower, some of the best Coleus varieties don't develop seed stalks till very, very late. And the word best, that's kind of a really broad term. What do you mean by best? I don't know. I don't know if that means the strongest or the most genetically sound. I don't know. I'll have to ask my expert, Brooklyn, and some of my Coleus experts what that really means. But for instance, I have Empire Coleus, and they've always been just off the hook prolific seed stalk developers. I mean, I can't keep up with Empire seed stalks, so I get a lot of them, which is good because I love Empires. I mean, they are the best, probably the easiest and best, most hardy, just beautiful Coleus to put in a pot, because they just develop these huge colorful leaves, and you never know, they always develop a little different. There's always a little mutation, whether it's cross-pollination or what have you, but an Empire generally will come out as an Empire, and again, there may be some variations in the patterning and the color, but an Empire seed stalk is not gonna, you're not gonna grow, and it's not gonna develop into a Saturn, you know. So there are, you know, pretty stable varieties and so forth, unless it really gets cross-pollinated and really contaminated. But anyway, off the beaten track, I keep them in these trays. So if you're interested in harvesting your own seeds, you want to dry them out. You don't have to use trays. You can use paper plates. I did in the past. But I like to use these because I do have so many of them for my Jim's Coleus eBay listing. And I should have that listing up and running around, again, probably the second week of October or so. I still have to let these dry out a full month and then separate them, separate the chaff, and then separate the seeds. So it's a lot of work too. It's not as hard as the daily 2-hour ritual being in the greenhouse, but it's tedious, takes a long time, and I have to take a break. But I enjoy it. I really do enjoy growing Coleus, potting them, selling them at the farmer's market, and my Coleus seed stock, my seed listing on eBay, which I really enjoy, because I know so many of you have bought seeds from me and have gotten hooked on Coleus rather than phonics. We're all tired of phonics, right? We want to be hooked on Coleus. So anyway, you can see here, we got this is a surprise mix. So I have some varieties that may be cross-pollinated or whatever. I have some friends that gave me some Coleus seed stalks, and they're just a mix. So you'll get a mix, a surprise mix, colossal marbles with the pink, Saturns, Empires. What do I have here? I have these gorgeous velvet reds. So I'll have around 7 to 8 varieties of Coleus seeds if you want to grow them yourself. But this is really basically how I set them up. I use my indoor greenhouse, so it's like a circle. It's just a circle of life here. I start here and I end here, and then I take some time off a little bit. And but this is it. This is the cycle of Coleus life here. Okay, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned. I will shoot a video on how I separate the seeds. Or if you're at the point you're doing it now, check my some videos from last year. I did do a few on how I separate Coleus seeds from the seed stalks, or how do you know when it's time to cut the seed stalks. because you need to let them develop. You need to get them not necessarily pollinated as much as you need to let them mature. Of course, being pollinated is a good thing. I got lots of butterflies and bees and so forth here, so we definitely want to get them pollinated. But the wind also pollinates Coleus. You do want to let the seed stalk stay on for a good month or so. And again, how I gauge it is, I mean, at this point I can pretty much tell just by eyeing it. But if I know, because I do check these every day, I know that these seed stalks have been on for a month or so. And I'm pretty certain that they're mature seeds. But towards the end of the season, the seed stalks will really start to brown on the bottom, which means they're absolutely mature. So, but leave your seed stalks on, pick them, dry them out, and then they have to be separated. And they will always have petals, because they continually grow taller. They're always going to have petals. So you can see you have petals down on the bottom here, but you have, again, they just continually grow taller and taller. Here we have lots of seed stalks growing on the bottom out, so you'll get multiple branches of seed stalks. So after a while, if it gets too long, I'll just snip the top off and let the bottom develop. But they will always have the petals, so that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not ready to pick. I gauge it by how long the stem has been there. Okay, so jot that down. Jim's Coleus on eBay. I'll have some seeds. That seed listing should go live probably, I'm expecting, second week of October, maybe earlier. And I'll have enough seeds through the fall and into the winter. I'm going to make sure I have more seeds than I did last year. I sold out last year. I sold a lot of seeds. People were really happy. I got lots of photos back, and people were really happy with the seeds that I gave them. 90+% germination. Of course, you follow along here and make sure you plant them the correct way, because 90% of the time the reason why Coleus seeds don't germinate is because you're not planting them the correct way. It's not rocket science, very simple, but there's certain things you need to do, not to get off the beaten track as I often do. But okay, so stay tuned, jot that down. Jim's Coleus on eBay. We'll have our seed listing up and running, and you can get these wonderful seeds. Store them in a cool, dark closet. After you drool over them and get all excited and so forth and get ready for 2024, put them in a dark closet. Don't put them in a refrigerator. Some people freeze seeds. I don't. I keep them in a dark closet until next year. Unless you live in Florida where you don't have a winter, then God bless you. You can grow plants all year long. So, but yeah, store them in a cool, dark closet until the growing season next year. I'll have enough seeds for everybody. So stay tuned. I'll be shooting at that video on how I separate my Coleus seeds. And thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching Jim's Coleus. Take care.